Okay, so this is my final project for Python programming. It is a smart smart task scheduler. Basically, uses a min-heap sorting algorithm to sort all your tasks into most important to least important based off of a priority score that gets determined based off of um, formula I have here. So it takes the importance, how important you rate it 1 through 10, the effort, how many hours it takes you, and then how urgent it needs to get done. So the urgency score is calculated by the due date and today's date plus 1, then divided by 1. And then I'll just go ahead and show you how it works. So this is the GUI so that it looks pretty. It throws errors if you do things incorrectly, like if you don't have the due date in the correct format, or you don't put a number in for importance, or you don't put a number in for a number 1 through 10 for importance, and then all that other good stuff. It say here. This is what it looks like. You put your title, so we'll just do project, and then we'll do the date that it's due, so the 30th. And then the importance, we'll do 10, and then effort, and let's give it 30 hours. Add a bunch of other random tasks just to show that it works for multiple. Homework 2, 20, 25, 12, 7, 6, 30, and then you generate the schedule. This is what it looks like if you were to print it out, so that it just separates each task into 1-hour time blocks on days that are free. So in this case, it's Monday through Sunday. I have Monday through Sunday free, and then it schedules it based off importance. So since Python Final Project has an importance of 10 with an effort of 30 hours, it's going to be scheduled first, and its due date is closer, so it'll be scheduled first. And then Homework 2 has a later due date, but requires more effort and it has more importance than the second assignment, so it gets assigned last. And then you can export it as a .ics file, which is what calendars use. So you can go to, let me make sure this is the correct one. Hold on. I'll just export it again. So that's the schedule. This is the file you'll import into. So you go here to Google Docs. You go to this. You go import. Select from file. I already have it up, so it's going to be this one. Open, and then I'm going to I need to create a new calendar. Hold on. Test calendar, create, and then import it from file. I'm going to import it into the test calendar. And then it imported 35 events, which were these. These were imported directly into the calendar. So now when we go back and look at test calendar, you have it showing on your timeline. So from the working day is from 9 to 5. So Python Final Project, work on it all day Saturday, then all day Sunday until about 4 p.m. and then work on homework 2 till Monday, Tuesday, and then start the next assignment Tuesday, Wednesday. And you can put as many projects as you want. It sorts them based off that priority score, so whatever is most important and whichever due date's closer is what it'll schedule for you to do first. Yeah, these are test drivers just to make sure they work, so these aren't really important. This is what I wanted the console one to do, but there's no point in doing a console program when I can just use GUI and make it, you know, an actual app. But the schedule helper has a bunch of the scheduling helping functions. So this takes the task and divides it by the basically how long the blocks are. So for a minute, it divides it. It takes it from hours to minutes and then divides it by how many blocks it needs. This is the deadline. It just adds a deadline for the end of day because there's no time that you input. I'm just assuming it's end of day. And then this is the generate slots function. So it generates free slots on the calendar for you. So you can, if you want to use this, you can change this from just Monday through Friday or certain specific days, and it'll schedule it for those days. I have it Monday through Sunday because I work Monday through Sunday. And then this is the export ICS function, which exports it into a file readable by Google Calendar so that you can actually have it show up like it does. This is the STS module. What this does is it takes a task, a list of tasks, and then it takes the free slots that you have in your schedule, and then it takes the amount of how long you want the blocks to be, and then it converts them into task slot pairs so that each task has its own time slot. And then, so here's that doing that, adding it to task heap. This is just a debug for me to test. And then this is assignments, which is what ends up getting returned. This is just checking to see if this right here is just checking to see if the slot is before the deadline or on the deadline, so that you don't schedule it for past due dates. So like, let's say something was due on the 28th instead of the 29th, it won't schedule it. It just like leave it alone because it's already past due. There's no point in scheduling a time for it. The temp heap is just to add those like lost tasks so that you can either delete them or add them back later. And then it just returns assignments, which again are task slot pairs. And then the task class, this just initializes each task that gets put into that that task list. So each task has a title, a due date, importance, and effort level, and then it's given a priority score. And then time slots just separates the day into slots, slots of time, slots of 1 hour time. Yeah, again, and then you can go back and you can add a new. You can add new tasks to one you already have. And then you can generate a new schedule, and then you can, I would suggest deleting this because I don't really know what it does for real. When you create a new one on top of that one, but create a new one, and then you can go back to calendar, import, select the file, put it on the test calendar, import, and then you can go back and it'll show you all the new ones. It stacks it on top, which kind of sucks, but yeah, that's what that does. And then this is the flowchart diagram. It just shows you what everything does, how it does it, all that good stuff.